Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Jack returned to the small village house with the ancient ritual book clutched tightly in his hand. He had not slept all night, the flickering candlelight illuminating the yellowed pages. Each character seemed to drill into his eyes, making him feel like he was looking at something that did not belong to this world. The tangled lines described a necromancy ritual, but different from what he had imagined. It was not only to grant immortality, but also a contract that bound blood and soul. Jack flipped through the pages, trying to decipher it. Some passages were smudged, some were torn. But the more he read, the more he saw the horror. The unfinished ritual was the reason St. Mary's Church had turned into a dark pit. Anyone who entered would have their souls sucked in to make up for the missing part. The chilling scares that the villagers passed around were not exaggerated. They were true, and Jack had now become a link in that curse. Suddenly, the candle went out, plunging the room into darkness. A cold wind blew through the crack in the door, carrying with it the familiar, musty smell. Jack shivered, clutching the book tightly. For a moment, he heard the whispering of pages turning in his ear, as if someone were reading with him. He turned on the oil lamp, the weak light shining out, and a shadow that was not his appeared on the wall. The shadow was tall and thin, with a drooping hat, its long arms touching the ground. Jack stepped back, his heart pounding. But when he turned around, there was no one. He hastily wrapped the book in a cloth bag, determined to find a safe place, to study it more thoroughly the next morning. But as soon as he fell asleep, Jack fell into a nightmare. He found himself tied to a stone table in the basement, surrounded by shadowy spirits. They whispered to him to be freed, their empty eyes piercing his heart. Above, the priest's shadow appeared again, his voice echoing in his head. "Complete the ritual, or you will stay here forever." Jack screamed, struggled, and woke up in a cold sweat as dawn broke. Jack found another place, the abandoned monastery on the western hill. The villagers rumored that it once held many ancient manuscripts that could explain the symbols in the books. The road up the hill was bumpy, and thick fog obscured the path. When he arrived, Jack found the monastery was nothing more than ruined walls and a collapsed dome. But in the midst of the ruins was a locked library room. He pushed open the rotten door with all his might, the sound of its hinges creaking loudly inside. The smell of old paper and ash filled the air. There were still a few books left on the rickety wooden shelves. Jack searched through each one, finally discovering a record in an ancient language. He recognized some of the symbols as identical to those in his own book. After many hours of searching, Jack pieced together a passage that matched the torn page in the ritual book. The passage revealed a secret. The ritual could only be broken if the person holding the book dared to read the final summoning words backwards. But the price was the bond between the reader and the imprisoned soul. That meant Jack could break the curse, but he could also replace the priest as the new soul keeper. Jack collapsed, a feeling of despair gripping him. He had never imagined such a scenario, but looking back at the bruises on his wrists, remembering the pleading eyes of the souls in his dreams, he knew he could not ignore it. If no one stopped the ritual, St. Mary's would continue to devour more innocent people. When the sun set, Jack carried the book back to the house. Outside, the wind howled fiercely, the branches scraping against the windows like claws. He lit more candles, spread the book and notes out on the table. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but a vague determination rose in his heart. He knew he had to return to St. Mary's. Mary once again, this time not just to face it, but to end it all. That night, before closing his eyes, Jack wrote a few lines in his notebook. If he didn't return tomorrow, at least others would know the truth. The scribbles were shaky, but full of determination. I, Jack, will return to the church to destroy the ritual. If you fail, never enter that place again. Outside the window, the cold moonlight shone down, and for a moment, Jack saw the priest standing under the tree again, his eyes shining like fire. But this time, Jack wasn't scared. He just clenched his fists, his eyes blazing. He was ready for the final confrontation. In the next episode, Jack will bring the book back to St. Mary's Church, starting a dangerous journey to destroy the ritual, and the price to pay will be beyond imagination.